Hello, my noble band of outlaws. Outlaw Samurai coming at you live with a video on the long-awaited review of the Hanwei Raptor Unokubi-zukuri. It's been a while in the making, I will say, because I got this sword sometime last week. I know by the time this video gets uploaded, it will no longer be that time. But I basically got it within the last 2 to 3 weeks of January. Let's put it that way. Now, as I traditionally do with my reviews, like I said, the reviews are the long videos that I usually have snack warnings for. As usual, we will start with the MSRP. The price on Gold of Athena as of right now is $428.95 for interest-free payments of $107.24 with sizzle. That equals out to about $118 payments once taxes are included. Shipping range usually is $8 to $45 pre-order in continental US. Actual shipping calculated during checkout. Additional information in the description. The Hanwei Raptor Unokubi-zukuri, or Cormorant's neck is what it translates to. Blade design is patented after the shape of the naginata, the powerful long-handle weapon popular between the 12th and 14th centuries. Notable for the strongly relieved shinogi-ji and diamond-shaped kisaki, the Unokubi-zukuri provides excellent balance and a strong cutting blade. The sharpened blade features a half-length bohea groove, while the wood grip is wrapped in genuine ray skin and black suede leather ito. Suede is basically just faux leather. The blackened iron tsuba as a Raptor design, including a matching scabbard with a matte finish and cotton sword bag, as we saw in the unboxing. The Hanwei Raptor series has been designed for the cutting practitioner who does not necessarily have access to mats, but who wishes to practice and perfect cutting technique. The blades are forged of 5160 high carbon steel and specifically heat treated to produce very high resilience and greater tolerance of mid-directed cuts than a conventional differentially tempered blade. The edge geometry is configured to facilitate the cutting of both soft and semi-hard materials without chipping, allowing the cutter a wide choice of targets. This is included but not limited to such things as traditional tatami mats, pretty much any form of plastic bottle, the rolled-up paper mats that's soaked overnight, the poor man's tatami as we in the sword community call it, even branches and small saplings, basically. Bamboo as well. Basically, these swords can cut anything, any of the traditional targets that katanas and other Japanese swords would cut traditionally, and the modern targets that we use and are readily available, like plastic bottles and such and stuff like that, bottle shigiri. The specifications of the sword. 42 1/2 inches overall, blade length of 29 3/8 inches, edge sharp, not really, but that's a subjective thing. To some people that's sharp. To me it's just borderline getting there. I'm definitely going to take this thing to the 250 and then 6,000 grit and or maybe just the 6,000 grit to hone that edge up, because I feel like it just needs a good honing. Width is 33.7 millimeters. Thickness is 7.2 millimeters, and the tip is 6 millimeters. Cult of Athena, use the goddamn American system, okay? Please. You're an American company operating in America. Use American measurements. Okay? I don't know how to translate this shit in my head. There is no pommel, obviously. Point of balance is 4 1/2 inches from the guard. So that's probably like 5 inches. Because we don't include the habaki in measurements. Grip length is 11 7/8 inches. Blade, as I said, 5160 high carbon steel, or high carbon spring steel should be correct. Class is battle ready, it's functional. Culture, Japanese. Manufacturer, Hanwei. Country of origin, China. And then there's some reviews. But yeah. So those are the specifications of the Hanwei Raptor Katana. Now, it says it's 42 1/2 inches overall. And I don't think that includes the scabbard. And yes, I actually have a tape measure handy this time. Look at me getting more professional with my shit. It is 42 1/2 inches overall. The grip length is 13 inches flat. This is a full 13-inch suka. So Cult of Athena, in their measurements, I don't know how they lost a whole 2 1/2 freaking inches, or something around there. 1 1/2 inches, 1 1/4 inches. How they lost almost 2 inches of grip length, I don't know. The blade is from tip is just over 28 1/4 inches. So I can understand them saying a 29-inch blade, especially since a lot of sword sellers will include the habaki in their measurements. But that is historically inaccurate. Technically speaking, the sword's blade does not start actually being a blade until you get right here to the, if I remember correctly, the mumachi. This is the mu, this is the ha. Until you get right here to the mumachi line, and then everything above that is blade. Everything below this line is tang. A lot of people think that the blade on a katana starts right down here at the base of the habaki. And for the longest time I thought that too, until I took my first katana apart and realized that this is not where the blade starts. But yeah. So there is so I can kind of let that slide. The person who was measuring this probably didn't realize that you don't measure the habaki in the measurements, but still, 28-inch blade. Short for my liking, particularly short for my liking, but still, I'm not going to fall Cult of Athena for that. Missing almost 2 inches of grip on the other hand, that's a no-no. Okay, so Now that we've gotten the measurements out of the way and checked the measurements, do not worry, there's a towel on the floor. Okay? But there's one thing we need to see here. The point of balance on this thing is supposed to be about 4 inches from the guard. And it is, I want to say, about 5 inches from the guard. But from the top of the habaki, it is about 4 inches. So they did measure from the habaki up to get that measurement. But still, just swinging this thing around, it's extremely well balanced. Like, if I was to just chalk the blade up to the size of the Warrior O Katana in my room, this would actually be perfect for me. An Unokubi-zukuri with this grip and an almost 34-inch blade would be the perfect sword for me. But yeah. Now, I've rambled on for 11 minutes. Double checking all the measurements and such. Now, let's get to the actual review. As you can see, we have the classic Raptor head, Kashira, Raptor head, Fushira, and Raptor motifed. Finally, my camera wants to cooperate to show the fittings on a sword. Classic Raptor motifed Suba. The Seppa are nothing to write home about. They are very much classic Seppa with an extremely tiny little teeth groove pattern. The habaki is pretty much a standard brass habaki that you'd get on pretty much every sword you buy. But there are 2 interesting things about the habaki. One, it doesn't feel or look cheap to me. Like, if you've seen a lot of my other swords, the habaki kind of looks like it's cheap, like it was just folded, soldered, and put on. This actually is a very nice, what I consider high-class habaki. I mean, look at that fit up. Right? I can barely get my fingernails in there, as Joe Fortune Fire would say. So I do like the habaki. It's very nice, very interesting. And the second interesting bit about the habaki is that it actually does have the traditional second cutout for the hamachi. If you look at a lot of historical katanas, they have a second cutout on the other side for the hamachi to sit on. And that is actually historically accurate to a lot of classic Nihonto blades. So I actually do like that the habaki has this. And also, well, it was a nice snug fit when I first bought it, but now I'm definitely going to have to fix that. But let's move on to the Suka. Now, there are a few things I want to say about the Suka. One, we'll start with the transitions, as Matthew Jensen would say. The transitions, in my opinion, are absolutely flawless. Alright, there's no ledges, there's no hot spots, as he would call them. Everything fits well in my hand with the Suka. I really do enjoy it. There was one thing that I had when I first got this, and then I felt the diamonds kind of jutted out too far. But a few good whacks with a rubber mallet kind of softened and tamped them down, so that's no longer an issue. As I believe I mentioned in the cutting video, this has panels of Samegawa race skin, which I'm not going to really say anything against, considering that a lot of swords have panels, and even some historical Nihonto had panels of race skin. Not a lot, but some. But what I have an issue with is for a $400 sword, I can see the wood so clearly. Like, I don't know if the dude who was wrapping this had one too many at the bar before he showed up to work, or he was just in a this is a I don't give a fuck day, really. But the knots are tight. The Ito is tight, for the most part. I can move it a bit. It's not like my Dragon Kings, which I can't move at all. But yeah, I can see the wood. And on a $400 sword, when it comes to the Stuka, I don't want to see wood. That's my big thing. And also, if you look closely, you can see, even though it's out of focus. Let me try. No one heard that. But you can see that the panels don't even fill in the grooves that were cut for them. This panel was cut too thin for the grooves. So there's my big pet peeve with the Suka. I can see the wood, and the Samegawa wasn't cut right for the grooves. Other than that, I have absolutely no problem with the Suka of this sword. It's nice, it's big, it fits my hand perfectly. I love it, it's just the cosmetic things. And I don't know if this is my doing or not, but the patina on the fittings are starting to wear off. Again, I don't know if that's my doing or not, but yeah. So there's that. Next, I tend to jump ahead to the pointy stabby part. Again, I'm quoting Matthew Jensen here, but as you can see, the sword has the central bohi, but it does not have the secondary bohi that's supposed to run along the bevel line. I don't know the Japanese terminology, but the bevel line up to the kisaki. I'm not particularly annoyed by that. I personally find this style of Unokubi-zukuri far more pleasing to me than having the second bohi. To me, I don't think the second bohi is really necessary. Then we have this nice little step, which I discovered in the unboxing helps with Noto. Like, as soon as you feel that little step, you know when to kind of bring the blade up. Yeah. The tip is nice. The edge geometry itself is nice and thick. Good for the beginner, as it says. Even the intermediate and expert level cutters, actually. And, of course, we have the flared diamond-shaped kisaki. I don't really get why people say this sword is so heavy. A lot of early reviewers were like, this sword is heavy, unwieldy, a clunker. I actually find this sword to be quite nimble in my hands. Of course, you see me swing around the Cold Steel Warrior Katana like it's basically a 1-pound sword, and that thing weighs almost 3-4 pounds. So, yeah. But there's not much more I can say on this sword. It just suits me. I just wish the blade was longer and they had taken a little more time in wrapping the Ito and sized the Samegawa better. The Mikuge pegs are fine. I should say that when I tend to choke up on the Suba a lot. I don't know why, but I just end up choking up on the Suba a lot. Whenever I fight or spar or anything. I will say that these kind of ginkgo leaf patterns will catch the meat of your hand and kind of be an annoyance. But it's not something I find detrimental to use. Next, we will move on to the saya. And there's not much to talk about with the saya. I already replaced the Sageo cord with a braided paracord one that I made myself. I chose to use the white and black speckles because I thought it would look well with the Raptor motif. There's a horn, end cap. I think this is the Kojiri, the Koigata, and some other koi thing. I'm not familiar with the terminologies for the saya, okay? Forgive me, but in any case, it has a Ishime lacquer finish. These are all horn pieces. It's a very thick and robust scabbard. I feel like if I had to, if I lost the sword, I feel like if I had to, I could bring this up and block a blade, or if I had to use it as like a club. I feel like I could use this as an improvised weapon if I needed to. But there's that. Overall, my final conclusions and thoughts on this sword is that it is... I love it, I like it, and if the cosmetics issues were addressed, I'd say it was perfect. I feel like these cosmetic issues are something you can kind of harp about at the price range. They are completely unacceptable at the higher echelons as well. But in my final conclusions, I have to say that the Hanwei Raptor Unokubi-zukuri Katana is a great sword. And Samurai Bird, you were right. I love this thing. And stay tuned for more videos about it. I may do as many videos about this sword as I did the Cold Steel. Because you know I went on a whole Cold Steel thing. But until next time, my noble band of outlaws, Outlaw Samurai tells all y'all, be crazy rednecks, be safe and use your weapons, and if you think I didn't address a point that you consider to be a negative view, write it in the comments down below. I want to see your comments. And I guess I'll join the hype train. Like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. And so next time, I'm out. Peace.